If you just join us, this is International Forum. I am Wilson Marshall. Today it's all about the recent tests of missiles by North Korea, global implication. Before that, let's speak on a story or two that is making round. There's this talk that is to hold in Turkey between Russia and Ukraine. It's all about the war between Russia and Ukraine. Some call it Russian invasion, but right now they've decided to come, they shift the sword, and Erdogan will be the one to preside over the talks between Russia and Ukraine. Yes, because right now in Turkey, Erdogan is saying that, look, for there to be peace in Ukraine, for Russia to stop this invasion, there must be a sit down. I really appreciate that PD to really roll the clip over as I'm trying to explain the situation right now that will be taking place in Turkey between Russia and, of course, Ukraine. For the very first time, you're going to have a Russian delegate and, of course, a Ukrainian delegate. They'll be talking and everyone will be at the center of it all. That is what is going to happen. That is on one hand. Right now, I want to go for a break. When we return, we'll continue with the discussion. Don't go away. Do stay tuned.
Day when Jesus washed away our sins.
Happy day indeed.
Oh, happy day. I want to really express my happiness.
Not to worry now. ITV Radio Easter Gbedu will facilitate your desire with music extravaganza by DJ Ultimate and El Shaddai Gospel Band.
Yes, I got it.
You out there, want to have some fun?
You wanna G with the big boys? Now you the wrong, get you the wrong, get
Father of the Day, Bishop Okundige Osayuki Charles, General Overseer, Anointed Brethren Church Incorporated, and Coordinator General, Conference of Clergy Incorporated.
Partnering with us,
Janasco Technical Enterprise, dealers in bulletproof door, soundproof door, stainless handrail, stainless gate, and carport in Benin City. The Prince Builders and Real Estate Developers with various affordable properties in real estate in Abuja, Lagos, and Edo States. Prudence Choice Micro Insurance Limited, providing easy saving, micro loan protection, micro property protection, casualty mitigation, Okada and Keke protection in Benin City. Green Fusion Energy Resources and Technology Nigeria Limited for sales and installation of solar materials at affordable rates in Edo and Delta states. Kesa Global Wealth Services Limited, real estate developers selling land in Uregin community in Benin City at 1.1 million per plot. Ideal Care Global Nigeria Limited, importers of Yasi blood pressure monitor, Yasi blood glucose meter, and Yasi strip in Benin City. Class Bet, a smart betting platform with big odds, 300% welcome bonus, 250% accumulative bonus, cut one bonus, easy cash out, and fast payouts. Class Bet, where winners play. Paramount Event Center, restaurant and bar exquisite facility newly opened at Ifon Akure Road by Total Filling Station, Oluku, Benin City.
Edosma Electrical Services, dealers in diesel or fuel generator, Perkins generator, spare parts, washing machine, fridges, deep freezers, plasma TV, air conditioners, gas cookers, and water pump, Benin City.
Join the family party on Easter Sunday, 17th April 2022.
Time 11 a.m. dot.
Venue ITV Radio Corporate Office, Glass House, Airport Road, Benin City.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. We need to go for a break to make some one or two adjustments, but it's all about international forum. Quickly, news making rounds globally. It's going to be talk between Russia and Ukrainian delegates in Turkey for the first time in a long time. On one hand, yes, there's going to be a delegation sent by Zelensky or sent by Ukraine, and of course a delegation sent by Putin to represent Russia. For the first time, I'm talking face to face to see if there can be a way forward. And Erdogan will be the man at the center of it all, trying to broker peace between Russia and Ukraine, because Russia made one thing clear: doesn't want to see any Western representative, yes, vis-a-vis the US, or else it will not attend because of the massive sanction imposed on them by the West and of course by Europe and some other countries that have this affiliation with the West. The big question now is, will this sit down bring forth peace in Ukraine? Because majorly speaking, some major parts of Ukraine suffering, serious suffer, in the sense that area bombardment, shelling, continuous shelling, it's like crazy down there. I feel like it's going to take them a while, let's say over a decade, to recover from this devastation, because Russia is not backing out. What really led to all this? You know the story. Later on, we'll come again to revisit this particular scene, hold the peace there in Ukraine. We will talk about Grammy Awards, talk about Oscar Award. Will Smith was in the news yesterday when he got so mad. He gave, yes, another stand-up comedian and movie producer come actor, Chris Rock, a slap for ever trying to direct his joke at his wife, Jada Pinkett. Yes, the slap was like massive. Nobody saw that coming. He just stood up, walked gently towards Chris Rock. He wasn't really expecting anything. It was like wham on his face, and he told him to please get your name off, get my wife's name off your lips. Yeah, that was a slap. That was a slap. Yeah, that was a slap. And of course, the Grammy, when I say the Oscar, the Oscar award organizers were like, saying don't entertain any form of violence. And later on, Will Smith came out to really apologize, and he just couldn't take, the stand-up comedian making, this kind of punchline jokes with his wife, Jada Pinkett, the G.I. Jane thing, the low coat and all that. Will Smith couldn't take it. And of course, he won the award of acting King Richard. Well, let's see how all this will go. Finally, Zelensky have chosen to talk about neutrality. Yes, when you talk about war, nobody prays for war, but when it comes, you have to look for a way to really settle it, or else going to overrun so many facets of one's life. Yeah, for the very first time, Russia transferred thousands of, Mariupol civilians to its territory just to save them, because Russia has been accused of killing civilians. But this time around, they're saying that they're not there to kill civilians. It was Zelensky that said that the civilians should defend their territorial integrity. Hence, if you're seen with a gun, automatically you're a combatant. And Russia went all out, and the devastation was massive. But right now, Russia is trying to, assist them with Zelensky's agreement, or will I say approval, for them to use, a neutral territory for the citizens that want to leave Ukraine. They don't want to get in, they don't want to fight to pass through Mariupol. And Russia was the one that really created that safe passage, because the man you're seeing, the President Zelensky of Ukraine, has said, look, we have to look for a way forward, all right? Stop the shelling, let's really get to talk. But so I get to hear on the social media, electronic media, of course, on some sister stations trying to give credence to the resilience of Ukrainians, but they're not happy about all this. They're looking for a way to really broker peace. But right now, if you ask one in Mariupol that really wants to leave, the Russian and of course the Ukrainian side have agreed to make a path free for anyone that wants to leave the city of Mariupol to leave that city. But shelling continues in Kiev. Let's see how long all this will last. Today's topic is all about the defiance of North Korea. They've done a series of tests. Yes, that's the missile you're seeing, and this is what we're going to talk about on the discussion segment. 12 since this year, and I'm saying it's a strong signal for the new president of South Korea. What about Joe Biden? What do you think will be the global implication of all this? Being in the studio, I have a lecturer, public affairs commentator, and of course, he is also a clergyman. Join me to welcome Honorable Frank Amego. Welcome to International Forum. I appreciate your comments, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Very close to him, he is a legal practitioner, human rights, public affairs commentator, and of course an advocate of human rights. Join me to welcome Barrister Henry Walls. Barrister, welcome to International Forum.
Good afternoon, viewers at home, and to ITV, congratulations for 25th anniversary.
Thank you.
More grace to grow.
Thank you so much. I like to call this one very close to me, comrade. You know, he's active. He's a lecturer. He's like, he doesn't look his age at all. I keep the one in a fist fight. Who do you call top? Tyson or you? Join me to welcome a highly respected lecturer. We're going to talk about international affairs, international studies. It's well granted. Join me to welcome our comrade Felix Osaime. Welcome to International Forum. I appreciate your coming.
Viewers at home, good afternoon.
Here we are, Kim Jong-un. If you get to see the video, you get to realize that this man is so happy with his achievement. 12 missiles being tested this year. Let me start off with you, Honorable Frank Amego. What can you make out of this?
Yes, I mean, North Korea is expected because they can only say the best form of defense is attack. So, North Korea wants the attention of U.S. And because U.S. is busy with this Russia-Ukraine war, and they may not even get the right attention, North Korea still wants to be in charge of South Korea. So many things. So what they are doing now is to protect themselves. There's a kind of a palpable fear in North Korea should America invade them. So they are putting all technologies together to protect themselves against unforeseen circumstances. Even what North Korea is doing now, they're not even minding China or Russia, because everybody to them is an enemy. Though outwardly they want to be on the side of Russia and China. So I really sympathize with the president and the people of North Korea. And all that they are doing, with the impoverishment of the people in that land, the president is trying to protect so many things at the same time. One would have expected him to concentrate on the economy of North Korea, but he's just scared over nothing. And I wonder how long he's going to go about doing this. And for the launching of these rockets and all that, America is scared because they could launch that thing from North Korea and go straight to America. And everybody's afraid. It's going to be kind of a war without rules. Nothing is happening and you are launching here and there. Japan is worried. People, countries around North Korea, they're also worried. So they're asking, what is the problem? That's why I earlier said, maybe they need the attention of the US, which is not very easy now, going down with the war between Russia and Ukraine. Right. So they would have waited, North Korea would have waited if the attention was really needed. Okay. Their fears, to me, they are not based on facts.
Okay, not based on facts.
Yes.
Barrister Henry, you heard him. He said he can perceive this palpable fear of North Korea doing everything they can to protect their territorial integrity. Do you think it's the reason why they are engaged or involved in this retinue of recent, intercontinental ballistic missile tests?
Yeah, well, to some extent, you might look at it from that angle, but again, you look at the character of the man who is at the helm of the affairs. Sometimes the character of the man who is at the helm of the affairs determines what happens in a particular nation. Just as you have presently Putin is doing in Russia. Ordinarily, some leaders wouldn't have gone to war with Ukraine under a normal setting. But because of the character of the man who is there, he wants to show that I remain who I am. Whatever has happened in the past remains the same thing. His person has not changed. So you also find that in Ukraine, in North Korea, the leader there will want to exhibit that character which he has. He wants to do things that we kind of put him in the world map, that actually they are a nation to be reckoned with when it comes to the issue of their military might, when it comes to the issue of their ability to sustain that which they have started. From 2017 till now, you will be able to count. In the month of this March, they were able to launch up to 3 times. They launched on the 16th up to on the 24th. You find them doing that. So, to me, one, it is to protect his, to show that he has the capacity in case there is any challenge. Because what you are finding between Russia and Ukraine today, if Ukraine has such a capacity, as it were, Russia wouldn't have went off and decided to overrun it the way he's doing it. You would have, there would have been an avenue for them to say, no, this way they have the capacity to do certain things. Like theirs, they are looking at it. If tomorrow there's going to be a nuclear war, what happens? They are looking at it from the angle that they on their own too should be able to have the capacity to, to muzzle it with any country as it were. Most especially America, because they look at America as a nation that has tried to police the world as it were. And again, this one they have done, the Hawaii Song 17, though there's a lot of issues, raised. Certain persons are saying that it's a deception. Some are saying that it is just the modification of the Hawaii Song 15. That's what they tested. That the one of the 17, which they claim is faster and will go in terms of the distance, that it failed. There is some argument some persons are doing, but they on their own are celebrating that they were able, it was successful at the end of the day.
All right. Well, you heard them, yes, there's an house song, and they're saying that it's like, an upgrade of the intercontinental ballistic missiles. Both of them, they allude to fear. Is it the fear of protection or to show the world that, yes, we are a force to reckon with? As a teacher of history and, of course, international relations and politics, what do you feel is really going on?
The situation in the Korean Peninsula is playing out a lot of possibilities. Possibilities in the sense that we are hypothesizing and we're also theorizing. Now let's start with what we know as the theories here. The basic theories here are theories that have to do with power, national interest, and geostrategic politics. What is power here? The capacity to compel others to do what you want them to do, backed by force. So if we talk of power here, we'll ask ourselves, what is North Korea's power? North Korea is trying to develop a nuclear weapon. That is the power they are aiming to possess. And if you ask the basic question, why would they want to have a nuclear weapon? Because when they have a nuclear weapon, they become theoretically invincible. If Ukraine had one nuclear warhead, Russia would not have invaded Ukraine. That is the end game that North Korea has been pushing for since 2006. 2006, 2009, 2013, 2016, then 2017. 6 tests in the nuclear direction. Having nuclear warhead is one. Having the delivery mechanism is another. That is why they are also testing intercontinental ballistic missiles and short-range tactical weapons, missiles that can go short range. The short range is to neutralize areas such as Guam, where America has a lot of our own missiles deployed. Then South Korea, which is the eye of the US in that area. That's why we call it geostrategic politics, because somebody is always watching the action. Japan, another area of interest for the US. The Pacific generally. So if you look at all these calculations, you therefore understand that what Kim Jong-un is doing is to create that comfortable capacity to stand. When you are talking of foreign policy, there are tangible elements, there are intangible elements. Certain things are visible. He wants that visibility. And following this test launch of Hwasong 17 intercontinental ballistic missile, he made a clear point that he is still preparing for that day that he will confront the US. He is always preparing. He has been saying so. He is working towards it. We may look at it like as if it is it's not a joke. And again, he is pointing out at something that is potentially dangerous to the whole world. You see, from 1945, it is only the USA in the history of the world that has openly used a nuclear device in war, in Hiroshima and in Nagasaki. In 1945. Since then, everything has been tested. laboratory tests, underground tests, deep sea tests, tests an atoll, there's an island in the Atlantic or Pacific, as the case may be. Russia has just tested a new weapon in Ukraine, the hypersonic missile, which flies 5 times faster than the regular sound. That's the speed of sound. Okay, so before we miss our discussion, Russia tested their own in Ukraine, in the war in Ukraine, this March. Meanwhile, North Korea has tested the same missile, though not in war, in January this year. Out of the tests we are accounting for this year, which is 12 so far, there was a test of hypersonic missile, as they claimed, in January this year. So we are therefore looking at a situation where there is a theoretical perspective, there's the hypothetical perspective. Now, hypothetically, what we see is that you could say, I have this weapon, but you have not been able to test it and see its efficacy. War is one area of testing the efficacy of bombs and missiles. Now, Russia has tested the efficacy of their hypersonic missile in Ukraine. America, that they are always against. I always feel very technically sorry for these countries. I always believe that once they plan anything, it's America. They are forgetting that these things, there's this thing we call in international politics and international theories, there's what we call the end game. And the end game comes from the knowledge that weapons of mass destruction do not have victors. The balance of terror, which is a shift from balance of power. Because when you are talking of balance of power, you talk of competing areas of strength in different countries. The US, USSR that has devolved into Russia and the former allies, just a minute please, which Russia is trying to recreate, which is not really going to be easily possible. China is in the wing, waiting to displace all of them. So at the end of the day, whatever you are accusing US of is where you are going to still end up. And there is no way in the world of today that you can go to a nuclear war. Because any nuclear war is going to be the war of all against all. And it will end all. Only few survivors will come out. Those few survivors may be able to recreate human civilization. They may not. So the pursuit of weapons of mass destruction is more egoistic than practical. That is why today Russia is getting bogged down in Ukraine. They can't use a nuclear weapon.
All right. I will come back to you. I know you have so much to say. Now, with this exhibition by Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of North Korea, he made the video, he made, the report look like a movie. Dark shade, dark jacket, dark flanked by 2 generals and they're given instructions. And of course, bam, the ICBM was launched. Does it mean that somewhere along the line, despite the failures, North Korea finally they've arrived on the world scene? We talk about weaponry.
They have not arrived. They have not, because I could see from the video some clear indications of exaggeration.
Exaggeration?
Yes. Because if you really have what you claim you have, there's a room you call a secret room. You create it, and you keep some of those, in quote, dangerous weapons there. But coming out to say, this is the highest that I have, you are producing it, this is the highest, you are presenting it to the world. And we know the world we're into now is science and technology. You have displayed your own 17. Someone can go ahead and do something better than that. So instead of him to concentrate on the lives of the people and their security, he's looking at how to fight a superpower. And no matter what the encouragement is getting from Russia and or China, he should be careful. Some of us, we're actually carried away by motivational speakers. Just go and display it. When you display, just let them do a film on it. Let them do so many things. And they end up creating more problems for your citizens. You have told America, you have told the world what you are made of. You think they will go back and sleep? So what he's doing is childish, in the sense that there is no war, element of war, not a figment of it. They just want to test your weapons. And as we agreed here, Russia has tested his own. So let him create a war situation and test it. We'll now discover that what we did in the lab will be different from what we do in the real sense of it. The person, there's a saying in Benin, could you please interpret? You have a weapon.
Yes.
That when my enemy comes, I'm going to use that weapon against him. You just map out your plans, draw them down. But the moment the fight starts, you will forget where you kept that weapon. You will forget it. You will, as I say, run for your life. So he's not doing this. There's nothing presidential in what he's doing. It's like behaving like, with apology, like a tout. At that level, you have all these weapons. You keep quiet. Should America threaten you, then you come up with that. But now you have told the whole world that when you shoot from here, it lands in the bedroom of Joe Biden. You think they'll keep quiet? They'll look for a solution to that. At the end of the day, you don't have a financial muscle as a nation to combat a lot of these international wars that we are creating. So I see that as a show of shame for the entirety of North Korea. It's not represented properly. Okay. It's not what we're concentrating on at this point in time.
Show of shame.
Yes, it is.
Barrister, do you agree to his comment? Say that this is like a show of shame. It's unprecedented, unprecedented. You're revealing, it's like, you bringing out your trump card on the table before time. Do you think this man really is getting a positive, or is it a negative feedback right now from all this he's doing?
Well, just as I rightly said earlier, I said you look at the character of the man at the helm of the affairs. What is the precedent? What has this man done in the past? What has been the man's way of addressing issues when he borders on this? From the moment the man came into office, he has always exhibited that character. He has always shown that at each point in time, he is ready to fight. At each point in time, he is ready to display that which he feels makes him what he is. He has always shown that he has the capacity to lead his people into anything, because he has always seen America. Most probably that has been his thought before he even came on board. He has always seen America as America trying to police the world, as it were. And because of the crisis in the Korean Peninsula, himself tries to make sure that his country is fortified in case there is any issue coming up. Just as Russia woke up and decided that Ukraine, that has been on its own long before now, that they want to annex it. He equally feels that one day the South Korean might decide that the Korean, as well, the North, should all become part of the South Korea, as it were, before now. So I am looking at it from that angle, that the man wants he is showing that he has the capacity at any point in time to wage whatever it happens between his country and any other country. And again, equally, he wants to ensure that he has the capacity in case there is, because presently you equally know that you have to show your people that I have the capacity, because there's a lot of skepticism among the people in relation to this testing that took place. But you want to kill that fear. You want to make your people believe that, we have what it takes when it becomes necessary for us nation to show his powers as a great nation like every other nation. Again, you can equally look at it from the angle that every nation will want him to be recognized with, just as the man is doing in North Korea. He wants his country to be seen from that angle, that we can develop our own intercontinental ballistic missile to the extent that it will go a distance longer than the ones others have presently. Because that is what he is trying to achieve. That in case tomorrow America decides to harass them, as it were, that they can be in North Korea, and the next minute they comes in America, will be in America to destroy. So I look at it from that angle, that the man, though he is trying to exhibit that which is him, his character as an individual, he has that he wants to show off. And again, you want to ensure that his country is at balance in case there's crisis. All
right, well, former president of the U.S., Donald Trump, called him the Rocket Man. And right now, it's like it's living up to the name, the Rocket Man. But when this series of tests were ongoing, countries like Japan, they were disturbed. South Korea was disturbed. Guam, an ally and the base of the U.S., they were all disturbed from the distress they are showing, and of course the report they are making to the U.S. about the activities of the North Koreans there. Do you think that this match should not be taken seriously, even if, like what Honorable said, is putting his trump card on the table? Do you think the world should be worried? Not if you know that the countries around the Korean Peninsula, they are really scared of what is happening?
I think we should look at certain indicators here. let's first of all take Kim Jong-un's personal approach to international politics. Power, its use. You see, power is useless if it is not in use. I always express this opinion. Secondly, tools can become weapons. For example, a vehicle is a very good utility tool. It can convey you from one point to another. The vehicle can also become a weapon. You can crash a vehicle into a building, crash it to a crowd. It becomes something else.
Yeah.
But weapons of war have no further use than destruction. If you've seen the movie by Tom Cruise, Top Gun,
Yeah.
that is the playbook that Kim Jong-un showed in this launch. The dark goggles, the leather jacket, the stride on the stage, on the tarmac. Then he went to the control center, was checking his watch. Generals were checking their watch. As if they're acting a movie in Hollywood. And Hollywood is in the US. So it's copying. You see, this guy said the playbook is very interesting. It is more egoistic than practical. Let us go to practical reality. In practical reality, yes, Japan is worried. South Korea is worried. Guam is not too far off. It's a base for missiles. In normal terminology, if you are holding a weapon, you are a target. Even though you are very powerful, you become a target. Now, which way we are heading to this discussion, it is that Iran and North Korea, they have the same ambition. They keep claiming that they have a nuclear right. They want to have that power that is, I said, hypothetically means them invincible. They want to be like Israel. They want to be like Pakistan. They want to be like India. Those are known countries with nuclear capability. Not that they are testing. They already have. They can use. Now, we know France, China, Russia, England, the United Kingdom, then the USA. These are established nuclear powers. They want to enter that exclusive cycle. And these are countries that have spent years developing their technology, amassed resources. Some of them amassed resources over time, centuries, on a global scale. So they now condensed it. North Korea and South Korea were one country at a time until after 1945, until 1948, when there was a split between the communist North and the capitalist South. In all expectation, let us look at what we call strategizing here. South Korea does not have any intention of ever overrunning North. It is the North that is the problem. Sometimes in international relations, that's why we talk of theories and hypotheses. In the theories, we have seen how power is. It is always very, very good when you have it, but you must control it. Power is nothing without control. Now, in this particular case, as Bush has described earlier on, he said some states are the axis of evil. He has mentioned Iran, Korea. Now, why do we call them axis of evil? Because these are states, using the term of psychology, they are classified as irrational states. They shouldn't have certain elements. If they have those capabilities, there is no guarantee. You can see that even with all the bombardments Russia has carried in Ukraine, yes, Putin has put Russia on alert, nuclear alert. Putin said there should be no fly zone over Ukraine, not in Russia. He's telling them where he's carrying out his special military action in Ukraine, they should not put a no-fly zone. If they put a no-fly zone, they may drop a Russian plane, he will retaliate. So whoever drops a Russian plane should wait for Putin. And if for peradventure it is the USA or EU, he will definitely launch, they'll keep launching their missiles at each other. Possibly not turn to a nuclear confrontation. Now this is the danger here. North Korea is pursuing nuclear capability. North Korea is claiming to tomorrow that they want to have it so that they will not be afraid of the US. That is their argument. And they are saying that they want to have it so that all the sanctions that the US has placed on North Korea, they will now negotiate from a position of strength. Why don't we also look at the other side? Every nation wants power. It is, in fact, it is what every nation desires. Just as some nations have it. The humility you see from some nations is not because they are humble. They don't have the capability. All right. So they are waiting for their time.
All right. I'll come back to you. Now, from what you have said, this is like a point of negotiation. Lift this sanction or else we go ballistic. The world will go dark. Is that what this man is truly targeting, like what you opined?
Because if that's what he's thinking, that's a lack of sense of negotiation. That's not to negotiate.
But when you talk about war, your weapon also is like a sword.
There's no war yet. There's no war yet. When you're negotiating, sorry to say, between federal government and ASU, when you're negotiating.
Oh, come on.
There's a little link.
Okay, fine.
When you are negotiating, you don't threaten. Godfather said at the point of negotiation, don't be angry. That's just the only one that can come to my consciousness that ASU federal government negotiations. If you are negotiating, don't get angry. You don't threaten. So North Korea is threatening that look at what I'm having. If these sanctions don't reduce, I'm going to launch. That's not to negotiate. If you are negotiating, you come with your reasonable facts. Then the other party does the same thing. They will now look for the meeting point and to be agreed upon. Not that if you don't do this, I'll do that. What North Korea is asking for, they can't fight it. They can't. They don't have the military. Though they have some reserves, they'll buy 1,000 or there about 1 million, and some reserves 600,000. But that's not enough. You're going to deplete your population and thinking that you have won in a war. The country that is highly impoverished, is that what to give to them as a dividend of democracy or rulership? It's a misplaced priority, as far as I know. What the president should be doing now of North Korea is to settle down, negotiate with his own people first. Should we do this or not? When they are done with that negotiation, before they can now meet up with America that they're just scared of. They shouldn't be scared of America if you're doing the right thing. If you have all the arsenals of weapons and all that, you keep them to yourself. And when you are negotiating, you down your tools. When you are at the negotiation table, you don't come with a weapon. You negotiate like Russia and Ukraine. Now, you don't sit there with guns all around. You come to a round table talk. When you are done with negotiations, then you go back. You go back to your people and give them the update. So what the president of North Korea is doing now is asking for a thing it does not have the capacity or the capability to handle. And that is, in a way, trying to overrule the principle of negotiation. That's not the right approach to it.
Okay, you see, that is not the right approach. But they're saying that in international politics, when you're coming to negotiate, you have to come with the big guns. And the highest so far right now is the nuclear armament. Once you have it, according to report or hypothesis, the world must listen. Take it up from there.
Well, it depends on what actually you are negotiating on. That will now determine those you are negotiating with to listen to you. If you come with threat, and certain persons will say, for the fact that you have come with threat, we are not negotiating. We should leave it at its word. Go ahead and do your worst, and let us see. That is what you find in certain situations. So the man himself should know better that the people he is afraid of, the people he is thinking that he wants to challenge, they have built their own weapon of mass destruction for over a century. And he is just coming up. And that which he feels he has, he does not know what those are actually they have. So he putting himself at that point and believing that for now that he has been able to amass that which he claimed, because he's saying that the latest I have, this our 17, can go up to America and destroy even being in his bedroom. The question is, does he know what they have to ensure that whatever he launches at the end of the day does not even leave his the city in North Korea? So what I'm trying to say in essence is that for whatever the man is looking at, what is important is we know it is international politics. Everybody wants to remain relevant. He wants his country to remain relevant, himself wants to remain relevant. They want to be seen from that angle that, my nation is a nation to be, to be equated with America, China, Russia, and others. That is the angle which he is looking at. Because the issue of ego comes in. At each point in time, certain persons, I want to behave like the others. I want to be seen that I am equally like what America is, what Japan is, what India and other China are, that are my country, notwithstanding the fact that we are formally under, that we equally have that capacity. But the question there is it the one that is sustainable? Because having the capacity, again, is it sustainable? Looking at the lifestyle of these people, looking at the economic situation of the North Koreans, is it in balance with that which he is doing? That is another issue.
All right, now, I'm going to ask one hypothetical question right now that I really want to get the answer. This man so far since his inauguration as the president or supreme leader of North Korea, he had one thing at the back of his mind. The world must respect North Korea. And the only way to do it is to have the highest weapon globally, which is nuclear. And of course, the delivery system also, the missiles. And according to report, he's showing the world that he has almost gotten it, if it hasn't yet gotten that particular thing. Let's take a look at Russia, Ukraine. Russia made a statement, do not declare a no-fly zone or else. And the world listened because Russia had something that the world fears. Maybe the man also do have the same picture. If I have this, all will be well.
May I help this explanation here with a very simple catchphrase here?
Yeah.
Thomas Hobbes, the great realist, English philosopher, theorized about power extensively when he published the book, The Leviathan. And he pointed out something. He said, peace is indivisible. That means everybody, whether rich or poor, powerful or weak, we all want peace.
We want peace.
But he also said that man is hedonistic in nature. That man pursues, in fact, his impulses propelling to do that which is beneficial to him, primarily. Now, if we look at these 2 points, we want to be happy, we want to be secure, because in the state of nature, life is poor, solitary, nasty, brutish, and short.
All right, now you just want to go for a break or return. We'll continue with this discussion. Don't go away. Much for staying tuned. Just saw some various headlines making the rounds in Nigeria, but if you just tune in, this is International Forum taking a look at North Korea's latest missile test, global implication. You're making a point for went on that break, comrade.
Yes, we from Thomas Hobbes' explanation, he said all nations are like gladiators. And if you understand in the Roman context what a gladiator is, gladiators are those people who are trained to fight to the death. So they don't fight and say there is, I'm tired, let me rest. No, one has to die in that ring. And that once they give that sign, hail emperor, we were about to die, salute you. The fight starts. One must drop dead and be carried out as a corpse. States theoretically operate in that mode. So when states are amassing weapons, this is why there is always combat drill, military drill. It is not the day war starts that war starts. In fact, Hobbes said that the states are in a perpetual state of war. That man, in the state of nature, as he has entered into society and created that covenant, which we now call the social contract, that man has submitted himself to the Leviathan. His safety is being guaranteed by that authority. Yet that authority keeps preparing to secure him, which is why you keep developing arms and ammunition, you keep testing them, you keep preparing, because war can come at any time. I agree that is the kind of scenario that Kim Jong-un may have in mind. But Kim Jong-un is now spending excessively to create, as we have just seen here, the egoistic presentation that I am very powerful. That is why he keeps testing, showing, displaying. Meanwhile, his countrymen are starving. And whenever he's coming to negotiate at the international level, he keeps telling the world that because I have this weapon, I must be granted concessions. Again, you are the one that is depleting your natural resources and your economic opportunities that would have made your country a very, very good place to live. Because compared to South Korea, the South Koreans are living very well. North Koreans are in a state of perpetual fear of their own leadership. So anytime he gets a weapon, as he just shown in Hansel 17, he displays it for them to say, this is what we have been spending our money on. This is why we have been having challenges. This is why we are passing through our time. Don't worry, with this, nobody can threaten us. Fine, but you are dying of hunger. You want international community to give you food, they'll give you fear, to give you resources. The same resources that you have depleted, making weapons that you cannot eat. Weapons can never be converted to positive ends.
But hold on, North Korea have been fingered via black market to make billions of dollars from weaponry.
I agree.
That was the report.
This exactly is the problem. The country is now becoming...
Because they're manufacturing and selling according to reports.
Well, we agree. You see, most countries in the developed world, one of the indices of power here is, in fact, which is the greatest power of any state, is war power. And once a state has that capability,
Yes.
it is a state's power is not measured more in terms of economic welfare. Japan is very powerful, soft power. Germany is very powerful, soft power. Switzerland is very powerful, soft power. But when you talk of hard power, where do you go to? Nuclear armaments. That is where you have China, Russia, USA. Those are people that now preside. Yet, that's why I said there was a playbook. The playbook of endgame is this. At the end of it all, what is your objective? You can't use those weapons. So when you are amassing them, you must calculate the social cost. The people of North Korea live in fear on a daily basis. People in South Korea live more happy lives. Yet they are always watching North Korea that these people can go crazy today, and they are envious. Envy is now pushing, ego is pushing North Korea. If Americans are living in fear, you would have seen it. But you see Americans grandstand, I am an American, I am this and that. They are always proud to express their national identity.
Okay.
North Koreans can't go out of North Korea. They are not free.
All right.
And in such a situation, the world therefore begins to wonder, what exactly is this man's problem?
Okay. Like what you rightly said, man is in a constant state of getting set for the eventualities vis-a-vis war. And this man has been testing and testing and testing. Let's come to the fear of South Korea. Do you think somewhere along the line there will be an imminent attack on South Korea by the North Korea?
If at the end of the day, the needed attention that North Korea wants from US doesn't come, so they can resort to attacking South Korea to attract the needed attention. And if that becomes the case, I don't think North Korea will go scot-free from that, because these are people that are peaceful. These are people that don't mean any harm to any community or country. So if you have so much of weapons, as we also mentioned now, why don't you go out and be selling them? Instead of trying to try them on human beings like you, to kill them. After you've killed them, what becomes your profit, in quote? So I think is power drunkenness on the part of the president is insensitive, is inhuman, without apologies, because it's not like someone...
But to him, he cares for his people. That's why he's doing what he's doing.
That's not care for the people. Your people cannot move outside your country. Is that a kind of freedom? So a president that doesn't care about the welfare of the people, a president that keeps putting fears into the minds and consciousness of the people, that, mind you, anytime there will be a war outbreak, how can such people really sit down to develop themselves? The weapons they are developing, it's not the president that is the scientist that is doing it. He would have employed some persons to do it. And one day God can just intervene and say, don't develop these weapons again, or develop these weapons and make terrible mistakes. What will become of North Korea at the end of the day? What you are relying on, what becomes faulty? What becomes of him? He will end up surrendering. So if he doesn't get the attention from US and he launches an attack on South Korea, he will get what they expect. Yeah. More than he could chew.
Now, do you think he's going to get what he doesn't really expect? Because, it's been ongoing. South Korea have been warning. That's why they are carrying their military drill along the border between them and the North. And the North also been warning South, stop this drill. That's why they are testing their weapons. And right now, with the election of this new president, it increased. I mean, do you think there is somewhere along the line, at the back of the mind of this young man, you are seeing an imminent attack on the southern part of the Korean Peninsula?
Well, because of the crisis that has been there all this while, at each point in time, everyone needs to be at alert. That is what you find in the situation as it were now. Everybody is at alert, knowing fully well that at any point in time, anything can happen. The man has been building on all this while. He has done nothing else to improve the lives of his people, apart from trying to build nuclear weapons here and there. So, as it were, those in the Korean Peninsula, they will probably be at alert in case of anything that they will be able to...
Thank you so much. Our time is up. Comrade, please, 1 minute max, 30 seconds, summarize what advice you have for North Korea and of course the world in general. Quickly, our time is up.
I can't advise North Korea. But we must be pragmatic enough to know that happiness as a human desire does not come from amassing of weapons. It comes more from being able to create the necessary indices that will give you that which you desire, which is what the democratic nations in the world are pushing for, and which is what those autocratic nations in the world should emulate.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Our time is up, completely up. Well, you've heard that. Let's see how far this young man is willing to go. They call him the Rocket Man. Do you think he's going to launch or attack the South? Only time will tell. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I appreciate a wonderful analysis. See you next week, Tuesday. God willing. Bye for now.